I want you to start a new writer document. I go to the start menu and start OpenOffice Writer. And when this application is launched, you will see a new document like this, a blank document. So I want you to start typing from the top. Like there's a place in the South America, I think. So you have to write this information. Simply type it, and then we will change the composition of the text, right? If you don't have time to type all of this, you can Google this word Machu Picchu. So you can copy the first and third paragraphs from here. And let me tell you one trick of copying text without. So you can see that there are different hyperlinks inside the first paragraph, right? So if I copy this paragraph and I go to the writer document and I paste it, you can see that all the text properties are also copied along with the text. All the hyperlinks are copied, the bold text style format is copied, and the paragraph alignments are copied. So some of the times you want to prevent the hyperlinks and the text properties to be copied to your writer document or your Word document in Microsoft. So in order to do that, what you need to do, you need to start the Notepad application, the Notepad program. And when you start the Notepad program and you paste the text here, you see that all the text formatting is gone. There is no more bold text, there are no hyperlinks, everything is gone. There is no alignment. Now, when I paste the text into Notepad and all the formatting is gone, I can again select all of this unformatted text, and I can copy this using Control C, and I can go back to my document. And now if I paste the text, you can see that there is no more formatting of the text which was there before, right? So this is a common trick that we use a lot of times to get rid of the formatting. There is another way, a rather clever way of doing this without using the Notepad. As I was saying, there is another way, a clever way of pasting this text directly from the browser. So I'm copying this text from the browser. It has all the text formatting inside, and I go to my writer document. I go to the edit menu, and I use this option paste special, right? So the paste special option is something which lets you select what type of text pasting you want to do. If you want to use all the text formatting, you can use HTML format. If you want to get rid of all the text formatting, you can use unformatted text. So without using Notepad, you're still able to paste the text without any formatting, right? So if I press OK now, all the text is pasted inside this document and all the formatting is gone. If I use the standard pasting option, it will paste the text with all the text formatting like bold text and the hyperlinks, etc. But if I use the paste special option, I can use the unformatted text option, and it will let me paste all the text without any text formatting, right? So enough said about this. I hope you've got your document looking something like this. So I'm just going to copy this text over here to my this document now. So I'm going to tell you about a couple of things. So let me get rid of any spaces between the paragraphs. So there is a way of controlling the spacing between the lines and the spacing between two paragraphs, right? So there are two things. One thing is that you have one paragraph, and that paragraph looks, a bit squeezed. It looks a bit squeezed. So you want to, uh, give some air in between the lines and make it like expanded in a vertical way. So what is that thing called? That is called line spacing, right? So I can select the paragraph that I want to change the line spacing of. I can right click it and I can see the option of line spacing. I can add line spacing to, look it to make it look like it is, you know a bit more spacious vertically. So the lines will get more space in between of them. So I'm going to select 1.5 lines, and you can see that the paragraph now looks more, uh, more clear. The lines more are more apart from each other. So I'm going to select the second paragraph as well, and I'm going to select the line spacing to 1.5 lines, right? So this is a paragraph property which is normally used in project reports and thesis reports. And a standard way of writing thesis reports is to have 1.5 line spacing in between the text, right? So the second option is that sometimes you see in official documents that the the first line of the paragraph, it has some kind of indentation. An indentation is the space of a paragraph or a line from the margins of the page. So in Writer, you can clearly see this gray line. This gray line indicates the margin. And if there is any space of a paragraph from the margin, that space is called indentation, right? So I'm going to show you. And first, let's, align both of these paragraphs using justified alignment. This is the button for that. You can also use Control J, and you can also use this button, which is justified align. Justified align allows you to stretch the text boundaries up to the margins. It makes the text look like you are the text that looks like in paragraph columns, right? So let's do that. And as soon as you press the justified alignment button, you can see that all of the text is fully stretched up to the left and right margins. If I press Ctrl Z, you can see that previously the spaces between each word or a pair of words was exactly the same. This space, this space, this space, all of these spaces were exactly the same. But as soon as I press Control Y, which is the redo thing, which will redo the justified alignment, you can see that the spaces in this line are more, while the spaces between words in a pair of words in this line is less. And this is how this program allows you to stretch the text to the boundaries. Okay, so once we have done that, let's go to let's so you don't need to select a paragraph for this. You can just leave it hanging in there somewhere, here. So, or you can select it as well. So you just need to stay inside a paragraph. And please let me remind you that one paragraph is something where when we turn on the non-printing characters, wherever you see this thing, wherever you have pressed the enter key, you have created a new paragraph. So anything between two enter keys is a paragraph. Anything between the starting of a page and the point where you press the enter key is one paragraph, right? The one paragraph can also consist of one line. It can also consist of multiple lines. It can also consist of multiple pages, right? One paragraph. So until you press an enter key, you are continuing in one paragraph, right? So So once you are inside a paragraph, you don't need to select all the paragraph to apply a paragraph property on it. And let me demonstrate and give you a proof of that. So I'm going to simply leave the cursor blinking. So here is my cursor blinking. I am inside this paragraph, and I'm going to change the alignment to left align and see what happens. Did you see that? All the paragraph, it went to the left alignment thing. I didn't need to select all the paragraph. Why? Because my cursor was blinking inside this paragraph, so I didn't have to select all the paragraph. So similarly, I can leave it blinking over here, and I can just press this justified align, and all of the paragraph will be aligned justified. Now, again, or anything that goes under paragraph properties, you don't need to select the paragraph for that. You can just leave your cursor blinking inside the paragraph where you want those paragraph properties to be applied. So let's go to format menu, and there are paragraph properties over here. So as soon as I select the paragraph properties, I can see, a number of properties. All of those properties are called paragraph properties. The tab clearly shows the word paragraph. The first tab inside of this is called indents and spacing, right? So I'm going to make the paragraph look like it is from, some kind of there are you may have seen wedding cards where the text are aligned in between the margins, some of the text. So I'm going to make the first paragraph look like it is, both of the sides of that paragraph are, 1 inch away from the margin, right? So let's do that. 1 inches away from the, so um, here you can see the option before text. So the before text option is, so I'm going to change it to 1 inches, and similarly I'm going to change the after text option to 1 inches as well. So here you can see in the sample, graphics, the dark gray area shows, and let me change it back to 0, and on the upper one also back to 0. So you can see the dark grays area, the sample one, is now stretched to the boundaries, the margins. And if I change the left before text indentation to 1, the the space on the left hand side from the margin is now 1 inches. And similarly, if I change the after text to 1 inches, the right hand side of the paragraph from the margin is now also, you know, uh, 1 inches apart from the margin. So let's just click OK and see what happens. Right. So now you can see that my text looks like it is aligned inside the margins, right? And it looks quite, it looks good, right? So similarly, I'm going to show you and two more properties from paragraph, actually many more. So I'm going to um, keep my cursor blinking in the second paragraph, and I'm going to go to format and oh yeah, so another proof of concept that I did not select this paragraph to apply the indentation property. I simply kept the cursor blinking inside anywhere inside this paragraph, and the property was applied to all the paragraphs. So similarly, I'm going to leave my cursor blinking over here in the second paragraph, because now I'm interested in applying the paragraph properties to the second paragraph. And I'm going to go to format menu and paragraph option, and I want to give the first line, 1 inch, or let's say half-inch space from the margin. I'm interested in giving the first line a space from the margin of 0.5 inches. So there's an option called first line. The first line indent, I'm going to change it to 0.50. So in the sample, you can also see the dark gray paragraph. The first line of the dark gray paragraph has shifted to a tiny bit from the left margin. So secondly, At the same time, I'm going to, I'm also interested in, separating the second paragraph from the first paragraph without pressing the enter key. So, the beginners which are not expert enough, what do? They go to this point and they simply press enter keys to give space to the second paragraph from the first paragraph. So I want to do that, but I want to do it properly, not using simple enter keys, because you cannot exactly control the space between the first and the second paragraph using enter keys. That will just be, uh, a rough estimate of space. So I'm going to exactly give 1 inches of space. Actually make it 1.5 inches. So I'm going to give 1.5 inches of space above the second paragraph. So I'm going to press OK. So as soon as I do that, I'm going to see two changes. I should see the first line shifted to zero point 0.5 inches, and I should see the second paragraph shifted below the first paragraph by, a considerable amount. 1.5 inches quite a considerable amount in terms of text, because it's like, too much. Lines are separated by like zero point 0.2 inches or something like that. So I'm going to press OK. So you can see that it has gone really uh, apart from the first paragraph. So I have applied 1.5 inch space between, these two paragraphs. But there is something which I don't want to confuse you, but I feel like it's my duty to right now tell you this, that the after paragraph space of the first paragraph is also added to the before space paragraph space of the second paragraph, right? So that will, give you a wrong, you know spacing between the two paragraphs. So if I go to this first paragraph and I go to the, this property below paragraph, I need to change it to exactly 0. So it will shift the second paragraph slightly up. And now if I use a scale to measure the space between these two paragraphs, when I print this document, it will be exactly 1.5 inches if your printer is calibrated correctly, right? So okay, more paragraph properties. Let's leave the cursor blinking in the second paragraph and go to the format menu and paragraph again. And actually, before we do that, let's type another paragraph. So just go to the this line, the where it says the Incas built the state around 1450 but abandoned it a century later at the time of the Spanish conquest. So just place your cursor blinking before the word the and press enter, and it will create a new paragraph over here, right? So now we have 3 paragraphs. So now what I want you to do is, I want you to leave your cursor blinking in the third paragraph and go to the paragraph option and change the first line indentation to 0 and press OK. So we have changed the first paragraph indentation to 0. So now the first line has no indentation. And now I want you to do something which some of you may have seen. It is called drop caps. So drop caps is something which lets you create a paragraph which has the first character much bigger in size, which can span multiple lines, just like you sometimes see in newspapers. So I'm going to actually use the first 3 characters, because the word the, we can expand the first the, right? So, and use 2 lines to, 2 lines of spanning. So I have used these properties. You can make a note of these. I have gone to the paragraph properties, and in that I have gone into the drop caps tab. And in the drop caps tab, I have changed the number of characters to 3, and I have changed the number of lines to 2, and I'm going to press OK to see what happens. So as soon as I press OK, I can see that the first word of this paragraph, the size of that word has now increased in such a way that it now spans multiple lines. This is called drop caps. It's a cool option if you want to use in your documents. So for example, my cursor was blinking at this point, and I did not, just like a beginner, I did not want to press enter keys to go to the next page. Instead, I wanted to start the page right away from this point of cursor blinking, and it will actually let me for forever go back to this page, to this point, and not having to have so many enter keys in between. So I can just press control plus enter, and immediately a new page is started. Okay, so you can see over here that all the paragraph properties that I had used in my previous paragraph will be copied to my next paragraph. So I want to get rid of all of those properties. So there are a couple of options to do that. The first one is that I can use in my, I hope you can see this, there is a drop down menu here, right? And there are different options. I can use clear formatting option from this drop down menu. This, if you cannot see it in your, you can go to view menu, and you can go to toolbars, and you can go to probably formatting toolbar, or maybe, I don't know, standard toolbar. So one of these toolbars will let you see this toolbar, and this toolbar will be have this first style text box, and the style I'm going to choose is clear formatting. So clear formatting will force my cursor to go on top left of the page, and it will start you know blinking, and whatever text I type, there will be absolutely the same formatting which was available to me when I started the document, when I started the document in the very first place. So here I want you to give a heading called uh, my my favorite travel destinations. So when you type my favorite travel destinations, I want you to uh, type the names. You can type your own names. I'm going to type my favorite. Like I can type. Let's write these. I've written these three names. I'm just going to add Gilgit. और इन सब को हम क्या करेंगे, ये आपने लिख लिया। उसके बाद मैं आपसे कहता हूँ जी, माय, अगर आप लिखें माय ऑब्जेक्टिव्स फॉर traveling. So I'm going to write in order of priority why I travel. Moving, traveling is fun. और इसी तरह कह सकते हैं आपके meeting new people, exploring new cultures, different cultures कह लेते हैं. I want you to select the first lines of both of these lists, and change the alignment to center, and make the text bold, right? And change the size to 14. So I'm going to write down the changes that I made to the first lines. I changed the size to 14. I changed the style to bold, and I changed the alignment to center, right? So I did these three things, and I'm going to do all these things, three things to both the first lines of these lists. So I'm going to select the second line, and I'm going to again change the size to 14, and style to bold, and alignment to center, right? Then I want you to, now I just want you to want to give you a food for thought, that this list, this the list of travel destinations, normally it is not based on priority. It can be, but right now I'm not thinking for this list in terms of priority. I'm just going to apply bullets to these. So here you can see a button for bullets. So simply press this button for bullets, and you can see bullets applied to all of these points, right? You can change the style of bullets by going into the bullets and numbering option in the format menu, and you can see different styles of bullets. You can select check marks, cross, and arrows, different types of arrows, squares, diamonds, circles. So let me choose, big squares for these, and now I can see that my list has bullets with the big square, you know, styled, bullets. So next, select the next four things, and go to the this toolbar again, and here you can see the numbering on off option. So these are, I'm just, theoretically saying that I'm just simply considering them, for example, that these are my priority list of objectives for traveling, so I'm going to apply numbering to them. So recreation is my first option, then traveling is fun, and like that. So here you can see that you see the bullets and numbering toolbar appeared. If you don't want to use it, it's okay. If you want to change the style of numbering, you can go again to bullets and numbering style and go to numbering type, and you can select whether you want to have this type of numbering style, or this type, or this type, etc. So I'm not going to change these. I'm going to keep them the same as they are. So once we are done with this, uh, I'm going to give another heading that travel, you can say chart, right? And I'm going to give it the same style later, but before I do that, so सब लोगों ने यहाँ तक कर लिया? I'm going to insert a table. Inserting a table is rather interesting in this application. Actually, I forgot and I started OpenOffice. I had to start LibreOffice, but I think it should be quite similar. Actually, in LibreOffice as well, you can see here an insert table option, right? So this is a tiny table button on top of the standard toolbar, and if you select the tiny triangle or the whole button, you can see that you are actually allowed to select the size of your table. So I'm going to insert a table which has size 5 by 5, right? A table of size 5 by 5. So I'm going to insert that into my document. So a table of 5 rows and 5 columns. So as soon as I do that, I see a table created inside my document, where I can write text in each of these tiny segments of the table are called cells. This complete thing is called a row, and which is the horizontal line, and this complete vertical line is called the column, right? Similarly, every cell can have different values, different things. So before we go on, I want you to you know select the first row of the table. Selecting the first row of the table will require you to use your mouse or your touchpad on your laptop, or the shift and arrow keys. So if you go to leave your cursor blinking in the first cell, and you press and keep pressing the shift key, and then press the arrow keys like this, you can go on selecting multiple cells. So I want you to select all the cells in the first row of the table, and then find a button in the toolbars which looks um, something like this. So I'm going to zoom into this for you to see a bit better. So this is a button, and if you hover your mouse cursor on top of this button, you can see the tooltip to be merge cells. So this button allows you to merge multiple cells into one cell, and that one cell is actually something which can contain again text or anything like that, just like we have done before. So let's go back and press this button. I'm going to press this button. If you cannot find this button, either you can go to the format menu and you can go to sorry, टेबल मेन्यू. एंड टेबल मेन्यू में ना यहाँ पे एक ऑप्शन होती है, ये देखें, ये आपका टेबल मेन्यू है ना, तो ये मर्ज सेल्स की ऑप्शन है, मर्ज सेल्स.
फिर आपको तो ऊपर शो हो रहा है, हम लोग को नीचे शो होगा.
ठीक है. सो इफ यू आर फाइंडिंग इट अ बिट कंफ्यूजिंग, यू कैन सिंपली गो टू द फॉर्मेट मेन्यू और आप इसमें सॉरी टेबल मेन्यू और आप इसमें मर्ज सेल्स की ऑप्शन, तो ये वाली जो मेन्यूज है ना हमारे ओपन ऑफिस में या लिब्रे ऑफिस में, ये बिल्कुल फिक्स्ड हैं, ये चेंज नहीं होते. तो आप मर्ज सेल्स की ऑप्शन को सिलेक्ट करेंगे ना तो वो बिल्कुल मर्ज हो जाएगा. तो आप ऐसा करें कि जो ट्रेवल चार्ट का टेक्स्ट मैंने लिखा था ना, इसको आप यहाँ पे ले आएं. आप माउस क्लिक ड्रैग से भी ये काम कर सकते हैं. तो मैं इसको ना इस टेबल की हेडिंग बनाना चाह रहा हूँ, तो मैंने इसकी ना एक तरह से इसको बोल्ड करके सेंटर अलाइन कर दिया. तो अब मेरा एक तरह का ना एक ट्रेवल चार्ट सा बन गया. अच्छा, उसके अलावा मैं आपसे ये कहता हूँ कि जी आप इसके अंदर ना ऐसा करें कि फॉर एग्जांपल मैं ये नीचे जो लिख रहा हूँ ना, ये इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं, चलें यहाँ लिख देता हूँ. तो आप ये करें कि इंसर्ट अ पिक्चर फ्रॉम द पिक्चर्स फोल्डर इन रो टू कॉलम 5. ठीक है. रो 2 और कॉलम 5 में जाके आप लोग ये करें कि आप एक पिक्चर इंसर्ट करें अपने हार्ड डिस्क की जो पिक्चर्स फोल्डर है उसमें से. तो मैं इसमें जाता हूँ, इंसर्ट मेन्यू के अंदर पिक्चर्स है और पिक्चर्स फ्रॉम फाइल की ऑप्शन है. सो आई गो टू इंसर्ट मेन्यू में देयर शुड बी an option called image. So I go to insert menu and I select the image option, and in when I select the image option, it shows me the insert image browse uh, toolbox, and here I can go to my pictures menu and it will show me some of the pictures that I have saved in my computer, right? So right now I can only see one picture here, so I'm going to insert that. So I'm going to insert using so इस open office को आप ignore करें. So as soon as I go to this, I go to the pictures option and I select the any of the pictures. Here I've inserted the picture, right, from the hard disk, from my pictures. So I mean, similarly, I give you an instruction that merge cells of last row and last, or actually first two columns, and insert an image of a aeroplane from the gallery, right? So आपने what you need to do is you need to go to the table and you need to go to the last row and you need to select the only the first two. Actually, let me change it to last two rows and first two columns, right? So last two rows are, this is the second last row, this is the last row, and these are the first two columns. So this will be the intersection of these two rows and columns, right? What I have selected right now is part of the last two rows and the first two columns. So these are the first two columns, these are the last two rows. So if I am going to select both of these things, I'm going to select these four cells because these four cells are part of the first two columns and they're also part of the last two rows. This is what we call the intersection of rows and columns. So then I'm going to go and I'm going to use the format menu, or sorry, the table menu to merge these cells, right? So as soon as I merge these cells and I'm going to see that these are merged, then I'm going to look for the gallery. So let me go to LibreOffice and show you the button for gallery. So here you need to find a button for the gallery. Yes, in insert menu in media there is an option of gallery, right? Insert, media and gallery. And if you are using the open office, it says insert and then picture, and no, insert. Okay. In open office, in the tools menu there is the option of gallery, And in the LibreOffice, there is in the insert menu, there is the media option, and inside media there is gallery. So as soon as you do that, okay, so there may be a something which does not let you show the gallery right away. So if you don't see the gallery, what must be the reason? The gallery must be hidden somewhere over here on the right boundary of the program. So simply click this, or simply you can drag it like this, so it goes into hidden state, and then it can come out like this. And then you go into different options. So there are different options, like there are transportation. In transportation, you should be able to find the picture of an aeroplane, right? There's an airplane blue, and you can simply click and drag or double click that picture to insert it anywhere you like. So I'm going to insert that plain image uh, into the merged cells which I created. If you're unable to find the aeroplane image, the objective of this exercise is just to let you know and to give you a hint of that there are different type of like clip art or cartoon images also available by default inside this program. So you can insert those for description purposes as well, right? So these are this is about it. And today we have done a lot of things. We have looked at many paragraph properties and table properties and inserting a table. So this was the document for today.